Yes, that's exactly what that means. I mean, you can if you want, because the VOD will be live on YouTube still. But yes, that's exactly what that'll mean. Hello, 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 everyone. So one of the things I found out is YouTube chat is very weird. There it is. And so I can't have it open. Yeah, that works. I can't have YouTube chat open through Streamlabs, so I have to use YouTube's chat. So I have to have like a million windows open to actually read what's going on and actually like communicate with anybody. Yeah, we've got some teams to talk about today, and answer as many questions about getting prepped for NAIC as I can. I was just going to record this as a video, but I do not have time to edit a video today, so we're just going to do it live and rapid fire style bod. So everyone's excited for this first team. Understandably so, right? Trick Room Calyrex Ice is just, it checks a lot of buttons for everybody. It's just like, it's cool, it's unique, it's not swordfish. Those are some big three reasons why everyone likes this team so much to begin with. I need to organize these a little bit. There we go. That one right? Oh, okay. Just don't mind me just going through double checking all of my prep work that I did last night, because I don't remember everything I did. Oh, I never remember what this last move on the Iron Ball Grimmsnarl sets are. I can never remember this one. Yeah, right. Like, it's not swordfish. Is well, that's usually like either a requirement for people to play it or a requirement for people to not play it. I think I have two swordfish. One's the French Rain list and one's the Crystal Rain list that we'll be talking about today a little bit. And just letting people file in here still. Just didn't want anybody else to miss all this stuff. Yeah, we've got, I got 2 rain teams, 2 sun teams, 3 sun teams technically with this Lunalodon. 3 variations of sun. Who knew sun could be so diverse yet so much of the same stuff every time? This is gonna bug the heck out of me. Don't mind me, chat. I'm just lining stuff up. Hey Jay, how we doing today? Currently getting all my teams reorganized. So I had everything all nice and pretty about 2 days ago for this video. And then, as you can see in my fun little Gen 8 folder, I have no teams anymore. So I had to go through and remake all of the work that I had done. So I'm currently fixing all my teams. And kind of getting them organized a little bit. Are we at least kind of organized now? We are. We're at least kind of organized. All right. Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Everyone's excited for this Reshiram team, and this is more going to probably be a talk about Calyrex Ice in general than Reshiram. I don't have high hopes for NAIC for it because it's just fallen out of favor, but I think Reshiram by itself is still good. I think this Pokemon's great. It's this one I'm not so high up on right now. Because we're the meta. The NA people are the people that decided to play Calyrex Ice to the extent that it is, and we've pretty much all but dropped it. So this will either be a very good like dark horse team to pick up with Calyrex Ice, Reshiram, Calyrex Ice, Palkia, whatever in the slot, and then the rest of the team obviously fills out around them. Yeah, like Calyrex just has so many things going against it right now that it's just not good. It's just not a good safe pick, I feel like, compared to all these other teams. Like all these other teams really stomp the Calyrex Ice teams, right? Like Calyrex Shadows, really scary. Groudon with anything is usually pretty scary. And that's why you play Reshiram, right? That's why you play the Reshiram on this team, is because Reshiram checks the Yveltal. It checks all the other big scary restricteds. It plays well into Groudon and things like that that you want, but there's no good check for like Kyogre. Besides, that's why you play Gastrodon, right? This is supposed to be yeah. Yeah. Like if I had to list these in order of teams I think will do well, this would be last. This will be here. Probably something like this. If I had to list who I think is going to do well at the top, like putting what I think would be the best team to take the NAIC at the top, and probably what would be the worst archetype to bring to NAIC. Something like this, probably. So let's talk about Calyrex Ice, since everyone wants to talk about this team. I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think this team's any good at all? Because I would not feel confident taking this anywhere. Like I like Trick Room. I like playing the Trick Room game, and I really like Reshiram. I don't like what the team tries to do, and I feel like you're very obvious in like your leads and what you're bringing all the time, because there's no backup, right? You're Dynamaxing one of these two 80% of the time. Sometimes you could Dynamax a Cinnamoroar or Gastrodon, but Like, these guys are your big ones, right? Especially this Reshiram. You want to Dynamax this a lot. Usually this is like Assault Vest. Hey Krebs, what's up? Just talking, we're just talking Calyrex Ice Reshiram for NAIC. Yeah, I called it the dark horse because it just loses that. It could just lose to everything, like, coming up, right? Like, Reshiram's good into, like, everything that usually Calyrex Ice doesn't want to see, the Zacians, the Groudons, Kyogres, etc. But, like, Yveltal outspeeds you 100% of the time. Like, you're never outspeeding Yveltal, so you're always going to be -1. You can do a lot of damage, but if you're going to be snarled to death, it doesn't mean a whole lot for you. The rest of the team just feels more or less like protect the Reshiram, and I don't know if that's always a good, like, option. Yeah, it's real tough with Yveltal, Lunala, anything like that. Thundurus has plot armor. I can tell you that right now. Like, looking through the rest of these teams, I only have this one rated so low, the French Rain team, because it's a Prankster Thundurus and not a Defiant. And this is another team where your max targets feel super limited to Kartana and Kyogre, and you kind of feel predictable. And Shedinja is one of those Pokemon that it's either fantastic or it's hot garbage, right? Like, if your opponent has nothing to answer Shedinja, it is the best Pokemon on your team. Bring it every time. Right? We'll talk about Lunala. I've got a lot of words about Lunala. I talked about it a little bit in the podcast, kind of leading up to this video. Yeah. Which, like going back to that Reshiram team real quick, like, that's the other problem. Like you said, you're gonna run out of damage. No Herdiers in my list today. I do have Bronzong and a Gmax Blastoise and this Kartana and Shedinja. Nothing crazy though. But you brought up a good point there. It's protect the Reshiram is fine until you run out of damage, and this team runs out of damage really, really fast. Like, if Calyrex Ice isn't good, you're in trouble because Reshiram's the only thing dealing damage. And if Reshiram's not good and Calyrex Ice isn't good, you just don't win the games ever. It doesn't matter how many Trick Rooms you can set up, right? Like, you're going to just be whittled down before you could actually deal with anything. The cool part about this French Rain team is this Kartana. I think Kartana is slightly underplayed right now. Yeah, like, right? Like, that's why you run Reshiram plus other restricted that's really, really powerful. Like, instead of Calyrex Ice, right? But I like Kartana from this team. You only have to worry about the shared rock weakness. I think that's it, which isn't bad. You check Dragon and Ground, so that's not a terrible thing. Just don't pivot in front of Groudon. You wouldn't be able to play Instant on that team either, I don't think. Zacian plus Reshiram? Let's see here. If Zacian plus Reshiram were put together on a team, what would we want to do with that? You would want a really good ground immunity in this team, in the squad, for sure, because you have double ground weakness. So immediately I look to things like flying, which Thundurus does a very good job of doing. I've seen Celesteela pop up in popularity here lately, but not to the degree that you'd probably want to play it. Landorus is okay. It's not the greatest. Yeah, like Herdier's perfect with your Greninja team because you're not having to double up on anything. The top 8 one, I can't remember where that was at. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Good thing Evan keeps a real good repository. If you haven't checked out BGC Pastes yet, I highly recommend it. Where is that Reshiram? Oh, the one with double genie. Yeah, that's probably something I would do similarly. It's got the Reshiram, it's got Venusaur, Sableye. Yeah, you have Sunsetters. So the team he's talking about, the team they're talking about is you have Sunny Day Sableye with Quash. You also had Thundurus and Landorus, which helps out a ton with your double ground weakness. You would honestly, this version played both, but this version also had Venusaur, which isn't a big, like, doesn't really worry too much about ground. This would be Defiant. It'd probably be something like this. Like, you have Sun synergies here in Reshiram and Venusaur. Reshiram can also set the Sun for you. You have double ground immunity here for your double ground weakness. There's a lot that this goes together really well. If I was to play Reshiram, I'd probably play something similar to this. My one changes would probably be, I don't know how much I like the Sun plan. I have a love-hate relationship with Venusaur. I love the Pokemon. Cannot play it to save my life. I will miss every single Sleep Powder, every single Leaf Storm. So unless I'm Dynamaxing it 100% of the time, I can't play Venusaur. So if we were to continue with the Sun strategies, would probably do Zard and do something similar with the Sun strategies. Use Sableye, but then we don't have to play Thundurus in this last slot. We could play a different Pokemon, something that maybe answer Venusaur. Regieleki would be cool. Tapu Koko, something I've seen pick up in popularity here lately. This is something that's been trending upwards slightly. You would almost want to be Life Orb Zard in this situation, just so you're doing as much damage as possible. Probably White Herb Landorus, Assault Vest Reshiram. Pick an item for Coco, it probably can be fine. So on and so forth. Yeah, Sableye is probably one of the better things to start seeing more play here recently. Its unique set of just being able to wash things, and you have like Fake Out still, you have Will-O-Wisp, Sucker Punch is great, Shadow Sneak's also great. There's a lot of cool things that Sableye gets to do that kind of get overlooked, I think, in Series 12 just because of Grimmsnarl being so prominent. Like, the one thing this thing doesn't get is really good speed control, because I don't think we even get I don't think we get Scary Face either, right? We have like 0 good ways of actually doing speed besides Quash, which isn't always guaranteed. So yeah, you want to talk other support Pokemon that I think are really, really good. After seeing it in Milwaukee, I think Clefairy's just hidden OP right now, right? Like, this thing is scary good. It's not that I'm comparing them. It's one is One is being pushed out because of the other. That's what I'm saying. Grimmsnarl is the reason Sableye is not seeing more play. Because the reason you are playing Grimmsnarl is to be that dark support type Pokemon that can pressure opponents with Foul Play, Sucker Punch, or whatever, and can do speed control, screens, damage reduction thing, right? Well, your Sableye can't really even interact with that Grimmsnarl, so you're already at a disadvantage there playing Sableye versus Grimmsnarl, because Grimmsnarl can just ignore your Sableye, right? It doesn't care. Whereas Sableye kind of cares a little bit, because you are a more interactive support than a I'm just going to set screens and maybe speed control kind of support. It also doesn't help that Spirit Break just blows you up. But back to Clefairy. This thing's a monster. Like helping, like you can just literally at this point play all support moves and you just don't care about anything going on anymore. Let's see here. You can literally just play all the support moves in the world and ignore everything else. Like, you don't even have to play Icy Wind. You have After You. Like, you want to beat Trick Room? Just After You. Nothing's underspeeding this thing. Nothing. If I remember right, we can get to 36. Yeah, like 36 at level 50 for this thing is fantastic. Like, you underspeed Calyrex Ice, so you're guaranteed to get your After You off, and then that activates for whoever's going to blow up the Calyrex Ice, whether it's like Foul Play Yveltal or Astral Barrage, Calyrex Shadow, whatever, right? So the fact that you can just ignore all the speed control in Trick Room that they're providing, or just redirect all the hits, is insane. But like you said, it also gets like Icy Wind. Life Do something I've seen before on Clefairy. You get them with them thinking, oh, they're gonna click Follow Me or Protect or whatever, and we're just gonna ignore it, and then it just clicks Life Do and starts to heal back up. It's hilarious. This was the big thing back in the early series with Clefairy, just playing Gravity. You could do like gravity hypnosis things. A lot of people were doing that too. Yep. Gravnosis. Where were we? We're talking about, I mentioned like Shedinja about the French Rain team, talking about it a little bit, and how much I liked Kartana on this team. But the reason I think this team's a little bit weaker than normal is, again, sometimes you only have 5 Pokemon, because Shedinja is just a no-bring ever in certain matchups, and your Dynamax options are super limited because you're playing that Prankster Thundurus that everyone's kind of figured out now, right? If I were to bring this to NAIC, I would turn this to Defiant and slap Life Orb on it and slap AV on the Kyogre and just go to town. That would be my big play. Because everybody has seen the French Rain team enough that they know this is Prankster Thundurus most of the time, right? It doesn't matter what moves you're bringing on it, they're gonna know it's Prankster Thundy because of the rest of the Pokemon around it. That brings me to the winning team from Milwaukee. Yvelodon is my favorite archetype by far. I love this team. I've been trying to make it work for a very long time. Yeah, like just swap the Thundurus. Like that's your best bet you can make, right? When you're playing that French Rain team. this squad though, I think this is just like almost perfect. Bronzong could be anything, honestly. But just the power of Yveltal, Venusaur, Regieleki leads is nuts, right? So Yveltal, Regieleki is probably one of the strongest leads in the game, in my opinion. Mainly due to the just sheer utility you have on all of it. Like, this could be Volt Switch. Because you have such good coverage on the rest of your team, you can run Volt Switch Regieleki and just pivot around everywhere with it. Set Sun with Groudon, pivot in Bronzong to eat a ground type attack, pivot Incineroar in for Intimidate, you name it. There's just so many cool things that you can do with the Regieleki Yveltal lead, and the only way you're beating this is by completely outspeeding it. And if you're not doing that, then Yveltal's just going to run you over. Because this thing can Dynamax with the Regieleki next to it and not fear a thing. There are very few leads that lose to Regieleki Yveltal. I mean, that beat Regieleki Yveltal. And then the flip side of that, you have like the same thing with Venusaur here, right? Regieleki Venusaur, Incineroar Venusaur. As long as you have Groudon in the back, Venusaur is always a threat. These are usually Focus Sash. Sometimes they're Life Orb, but most of the time they're Sash. Max Speed, Fast Sleep Powders, Weather Ball, whatever. It's really, really good stuff. You could probably bring this and get away with it, and you might be able to spike the NAIC event. But since it won last week, everyone's probably building around to beat this week. So you would definitely be pushing your luck a little bit, I feel like. More Sun, Rinya Sun. This is something that, again, we saw a little bit of it at Milwaukee, pop back up. It had kind of fallen off there for a while. I still don't know what this last move is. I forgot what it was and I can't find it and I can't remember it. Say, Ro, are you still here? Do you have my old paste? What is this last move? Oh, I almost want to play Burning Jealousy. I think that's some super sick tech. Burning Jealousy is really good right now, especially on Pokemon like Grimmsnarl that no one expects it on. Could just run Scary Face in this last slot. All the speed control. No one can stop me. Nah. I just do not remember what this last move is. Yeah, I remember the IC version has Reflect. Yeah, I remember the IC version was Reflect, but I think it's changed since then. And I don't remember what it is. Maybe it's Taunt? I don't think it's Taunt. But anywho, the Iron Ball Grimmsnarl sets they're cool, but the team has to be, not Icy Rock. The team has to be very specific to utilize it well, right? Like, the reason Iron Ball works with this team is because you have a lot of ground types and slower Pokemon that Iron Ball trick is really, really like good into the counters for it, right? Like Thundurus is a real good answer. Light Screen, okay. That makes sense because you have Incineroar for Intimidate. That makes the most sense, honestly. Yeah, that seems right. Yeah, Foul Play, Trick, T-Wave, Light Screen, yep. But like, the reason Iron Ball's great is because the Pokemon that beat this team, Thundurus, Zapdos, etc., they don't like being tricked in Iron Ball, right? Like, this is gonna ground them so they get hit by all the ground type attacks now. Their speed is halved, which they've been trying to build up speed to outspeed you the entire time. Charizard hates seeing any kind of electric type anyway, so having this just be faster than everything after the fact is really, really good. Honestly, this would probably be I would bring variations on Rinya Sun just to get people. That would probably be one of my brings to NAIC if I was really wanting to bring Groudon stuff. I think a variation on Rinya Sun would probably be very, very good this week. I wish I had my water in here. I've been talking for like 40 minutes and I already lost my voice. Okay, we're gonna talk about this other Sun team. So I know a ton of people love Lunala Groudon. Just stop. Just stop. Just get some help. Someone play the meme for me. I just don't see it. It's okay into certain matchups. Like when Zacian Kyogre is good, when this is the best team in the format, Lunala is great. But when Yveltal's running around, when Calyrex Shadow's running around, Lunala is garbage. And you're making it even worse because you pigeonholed yourself into I have to Dynamax Thundurus against Yveltal. Yeah, Lunala will probably get you to day 2, but you're not winning the tournament with it. Exactly. Like, you'll have to dodge every Yveltal player who's bodying all of the Lunaludon players, because Lunala just destroys both of these restricteds, and then you're stuck playing Venusaur. Right? Like, I don't remember if you've watched. Yeah, this is the definition of lottery, right? Like, you've got Meteor Beam, which isn't 100% accurate. You've got Stone Edge and Precipice Blades, which aren't 100% accurate. Oh, you've got Sleep Powder, Leaf Storm. If you're playing Thunder Wave, that can also miss. So you'd have to run really, really hot to get good wins with this consistently, right? One of the things I thought was cool was the innovation for Iron Tail on Thundurus to get those defense boosts. Yeah, that's the worst part, is Leaf Storm can miss. Like, your only 100% accurate grass move is Solar Beam. Like, this is the one you want to run if you're Dynamaxing, and you don't want to play Energy Ball. Like, you want as most as you can get out of your max moves, and Energy Ball ain't it, Chief. You don't want to play this. Like, honestly, if you're really just going all in, just play Frenzy Plant. That way you don't have to worry about the special attack drops from Leaf Storm. You're the same accuracy either way. Yes, you do have the recharge turn, but that extra 30 power can mean the difference between picking up the KO and not having to worry about the recharge turn, or missing the KO by a couple percentage points because most people are going to be calcing for Leaf Storm. My actual factual favorite Venus sets are these Helping Hand sets, though, with like Earth Power. I think these sets are super duper cool because then you're not like completely dead on board if you're in a bad situation. Like, you can play Sash Helping Hand and you can actually like get away with some sneaky techs. Like, literally can just lead Venusaur Incineroar, or Venusaur like Thundurus, and make them play the guessing game on who am I gonna max. You could even do like Helping Hand Moongeist Beam, deal some significant damage to Pokemon. I'm actually interested in how much damage that would do to like a Zacian. Maybe like 2.5. So max special attack modest with helping hand does 77 to 91% into 0 HP or special defense Zacian. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. But then again, you're also playing a Pokemon that just hard loses to Calyrex Shadow. Incineroar can be a problem. So yeah, like if you like Lunala and you want to play with it, by all means, go for it. I cannot guarantee you that you will do well with it tomorrow if you are playing it. My favorite versions are like Wolfie's. I don't know if anybody remembers this version. But it was playing Charizard. And you never had to worry about the accuracy checks a lot because you could just Dynamax Charizard and blow people up that way. If I remember right, Wolf's version was double fire move, Hurricane, Protect with like Life Orb or Charty. But the big brain play for your Charizards this weekend, I'm gonna give you the secret tech now. Drop Charty, play Wakan. Play Wakan Berry on your Charizards. You will thank me later. 100% will thank me later. Because you can now do solar power blast burn things, and if they're not AV Thunderous, I believe that OHKO's like 40% of the time. And if it doesn't OHKO, then they go down to the wildfire chip after the fact. I think that's what it is. Let me double check. Because I think they have to be Assault Vest to live it. Yeah, it's a 37% chance to OHKO. Oh, no, it's not. It's much better than that. Hold on. I'm about to say, yeah, that's a 93% chance to OHKO if they have, like, no HP, no special defense investment. I will tell you for free, my comeback run after lunch from at Indy was stopped by a Wakanberry Charizard. This is why I stopped playing at Indy. When I ran into Wakanberry Charizard at, I think it was when I was going like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, that's when I stopped playing. That's when I said, yep, it is time for me to pack it in. Like, I had made the perfect play, the perfect reads. I got to max my Prankster Thunderous in front of them expecting it Defiant, but they ate the max Lightning like a champ that normally would OHKO them because of Wakanberry. And I'm like, yep, that's my sign to pack it in. Okay, bub, talk to you in a little while. I'll probably still be here for a minute. I got a couple more teams to go through. But yeah, That's the hot tip for today. If you're playing Charizard tomorrow, Wakanberry. Make the change today. If you're not playing Life Orb, Wakanberry. This brings us to the last two teams. The teams I think will probably do the best overall. These will probably get you to day 2 almost guaranteed, right? Variations of this hyper offensive Calyrex Shadow Zacian team with Thundurus are really, really good. Just the combination of really fast Pokemon with really fast Pokemon with really fast Pokemon means you don't have to worry about like speed control as much, especially if you have triple fake out or double fake out with this in this situation to stop opposing Tailwind. Like if you have a bunch of fake out, you can just blow up the Tailwind setter and not have to worry about it, right? Because they'll protect on turn 1 and you just pivot out your fake out into the other fake out mon. Like you just big brain them there and then they're just stuck while you've Dynamaxed your Thundurus and have an Airstream boost already, right? That's how this works. I think this team's really good. You can play Gastrodon in this slot, I guess, if you really want to like give it to Kyogre and just beat it up. Gastrodon in this last slot is fine. I personally am just a big fan of Blastoise. Trying to think of any other cute text that I've seen here lately for Pokemon. Helping Hand's cute. It's not something we're used to seeing on Calyrex Shadow. Heal Pulse is another cute move. Leaf Storm's not the most common, but it's there. If you really want to catch some people off guard, Psyshock over Expanding Force is really, really good. Yep, Energy Ball's another one. Energy Ball's another good grass move to play on that Calyrex Shadow slot. If you are specifically like Sash or something that and you had it broken, you want to reset it, Giga Drain is another really good move, giving you that extra healing. Just trying to think of unique ways to catch people off. Here's one that nobody ever thinks about: Snarl. When you're really fast like this, you could just run like Scarf with Willow, Astral, Snarl, and like Energy Ball. Just catch them off guard with the super fast Snarl. They'll never see it coming. Could also do Bulldoze, the super fast Scarf Bulldoze. Catch the Alekis sleeping. Puts them to -1, then something else can take them out, like your Zacian. Just give them a little love tap with that Behemoth Blade, take them out. That's some cute tech there for you. Overall though, like, let's be honest, there's a reason Crystal Rain is so good, right? I'm working on a video right now for I don't know if any of you've watched the history of Rainia's Sun. It's like our most played video right now. I'm working on the history of Crystal Rain, and like all the research I've done into this team, like looking back and it's like how it was formed, the early variations before that, the variations that have come after. I don't think you can get a more perfect example of team building. This team just has everything going for it. You've got the perfect amount of offense and defense and pivoting and speed control, and like it's just amazing how strong and how good this team is. Is there any restricted pairings you want me to explore? Like I enjoyed doing this. This was kind of cool. Say if you got it now, let me know now. So we can talk anything with like Palkia, because I haven't talked about Palkia much today. I don't even know what other Pokemon I have, what other restrictions I haven't talked about. Dialga, any of the Kyurem forms, I haven't touched on them. Calyrex Ice Palkia. So these versions I think are a little bit better into the format right now, just because Kyogre's popular. Where's Palkia? I can't read. That's not Palkia. I need the Space Dino. There it is. I like these versions, I think, right now more than the Reshiram. They still have the problem of you just lose to certain Pokemon. Like Yveltal is an even worse matchup for this pairing than it is the Reshiram pairing. But like these teams get to play Tapu Fini, which I think is really, really good. That Misty Surge is powerful. I've seen these teams play with like Amoonguss, which is kind of a nombo with Fini, but sometimes that's what you need. Yeah, almost all of these teams always have Incineroar, unfortunately. I'm trying to think of the cool techs that you can play here. My favorite version of Calyrex Ice Palkia is, where is it? It's not Vancouver. My favorite version is this version from New Jersey with Alchemy and Gothitelle. I don't know how good the Alchemy stuff is, honestly. It's cute, but I don't think it's great. But I really like the Gothitelle part. That's like my favorite part. This part I could probably just be with, I can leave without. Yeah, the Secaucus one. I could probably do without the Alchemy, honestly. Right? Like, I think this was cute for the event, but isn't that great in practice? I do like the triple fake out though. Like, this is really good because these two are your Dynamax targets, but you also have Rillaboom who can Dynamax. In my opinion, you'd probably want like Regieleki in this last slot. I feel like would be better suited. It lets you play in a fast mode if you need to, because you have Electro Web, stuff like that. I wasn't impressed with Alchemy, and I understand like why it was good in that situation. There was a lot of Venusaur running around, there's a lot of sleep shenanigans, and Alchemy was there to kind of stop that. You got to do really cool Trick Room stuff with it, with Decorate and whatnot, but overall I think like in future events Alchemy's not going to be as good because people saw it on camera. They know what to expect now. So I know they did an update to that version of the team at Vancouver, and they dropped the Alchemy, and I don't remember what they picked up. Tapu Fini. Yeah, I like that actually a little bit better. Like, if you were already struggling against Kyogre before, you're really not now with Tapu Fini. Right? Like, the Tapu Fini makes it really, really good. Like, you still get to do the triple fake out thing. There's a little bit of a non-bow here with Misty Surge and Hypnosis spam, but Tapu Fini's almost never on the lead to begin with. So your turn 1, your turn 2 blind Hypnosis is usually fairly safe to go for, unless they have their own Tapu Fini, right? So I think this version is probably the best version to play right now. You could make an argument for going away from Gothitelle to something else, but I really do like this version the most if I had to play Calyrex Ice Palkia tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll be at work when it starts, but if I had to play Calyrex Ice Palkia tomorrow, I think I'd be playing something similar to this. I was gonna say, I needed that in the laddering episode this week. I needed a I just went for it with the Blacephalon, just like if I hit it, I win the game. If I miss, I lose the game. So I definitely needed that that Tapu Fini in the back somewhere to prevent that. One of the big arguments for not playing Tapu Fini is the fact that you have grassy terrain with Rillaboom. And I think if you're good enough at the game and you have enough practice, you can balance out the fact that Misty Surge and Grassy Surge overlap each other. Like, you'll have grassy terrain when you want it, you'll have misty terrain when you want it, if you just practice with the team enough. But yeah, the triple fake out is why I like this version a lot. Gothitelle just does so much, right? This is just nuts. Like, you have Ally Switch, Fake Out, Foul Play, Heal Pulse, Helping Hand. You have Thunder Wave. If Hypnosis is not your thing, I think we still get Thunder Wave. Yeah. Just play Thunder Wave. You'll be fine. You'll be 100% A-okay. You get Rock Tomb. What? Wait, what? Oh my goodness. Oh, excuse me. I can say it's getting past my bedtime. Anything else you want to cover before I wrap up today? Oh, I didn't want to delete that. I want to kind of move it up to the top here. I can say I at least planned for at least another half hour of this, so if you guys have any other questions or anything you want to talk about, feel free. If I had to pick a restricted pairing, here, I know I just played Xerneas, so I'm a little bit biased. Do not sleep on Xerneas. The deer is coming for you. I will tell you that for free. The Xerneas Groudon is a very strong duo. As people have figured out how to beat Zacian, so Xerneas isn't that scary because Zacian play is actually like decreasing a little bit. We're seeing like Yveldon and things like that pop up more, so do not sleep on Xerneas. I think Xerneas is my pick to win it this week. I know no one's probably gonna bring Xerneas, right? But like, the underdog in me wants this to pop up and just pop off and just take the entire and just sweep it, right? I want Xerneas to do so well. I think it'd be so cool. Like, you get to do so many cool things with Xerneas. Oh yeah, right? Like, a Xerneas win would be nuts. Oh goodness. Try and remember the laddering team. It was Blastoise, Blacephalon, Ensign. Who was the last Pokemon? Why am I asking? I have it. I can just check the YouTube. I ran out of lo-fi. We swapped artists. Hold on. Give me a second. Ran out of lo-fi. There we go. Now back to what I was looking for. I'm trying to get the team for laddering. I don't remember. It was a Moongus. That's what the last slot was. So if I were to port this over, because I will be honest, the Japan meta is insane, and while this team would catch a lot of people off guard, I think you could probably make some adjustments and make it a little bit more consistent. My first adjustment would probably be Indeedee over Amoonguss. Like, just slap Sash on this sucker and go to town. Because one of the things that we're not worried about doing is fake out a lot of the time. Like, while we have 2 fake outs of our own, if you're leading Xerneas plus Indeedee, like, you don't want your Xerneas to go to sleep, right? You want to be able to pivot that away. So you could play Sash, you could play Safety Goggles, Indeedee, because Amoonguss isn't going to redirect that sleep powder away. And that's how you would lose this game, is Sleep Powder Venu. With the Amoonguss version, obviously. Another thing I never got to test is Rock Blast from this Blacephalon. Rock Blast is the only rock move, right? Yeah. Ultra Beasts are so weird. I never got to see if Rock Blast could Oko Charizard. Let's see. I want to see how much this does. I'm interested, because I do not know Blacephalon's stats off the top of my head. Holy crap, it has 127 base attack. What the heck? I gotta see this. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So, Blacephalon with Rock Blast, when you Dynamax, becomes Max Rock Ball, right? That max rockfall does 87 to 104, if my math is right. Yeah, 87 to 103 from timid 0 investment Blacephalon. Well, that Blacephalon was Life Orb in the team from the video on Wednesday. So that max rockfall can OHKO non-Charizards. That's insane. And you're guaranteed to outspeed because you're base 107. That's nuts. This is a heck of a tech Pokemon, right? I found out that Sun Boosted Mind Blown OHKO's Calyrex Ice. I think they have to be exactly AB and a real high special defense investment to live this. So maybe Blacephalon is the super secret tech Pokemon for the NAIC. I don't really think it is, but after playing with this team, like, I was super impressed with this Blacephalon set being able to just deal damage. And now that I've done the calc for this, for Life Orb, Rock Blast, and the Charizard, I'm impressed even more. So maybe you have to keep Blacephalon and you just make this Indeedee or Clefairy. You could also make it Clefairy. Clefairy means you're kind of steel weak. Amoonguss is a good like redirector for Zacian for your Xerneas, since you're going to take probably 2 Behemoth Blades most of the time. So I wonder if anybody would be interested in trying to experiment with that. Good question. It does. It does get Expanding Force. So there's some synergies there, right? If you play Indeedee, you get Expanding Force Blacephalon. Is that any good? I don't know. But there's some text there. There are some texts there that you can experiment with. Like, I didn't realize its base attack was 127. Like, that's insane. Also, Blacephalon has probably one of the sickest shinies in the game. Hands down. You can't tell me that this shiny isn't cool. Another bonus point for Blacephalon. Base 107 means you're outspeeding a lot of Pokemon, and you only really have to hit 168. So you can even put those extra points in attack. I would honestly argue this is the one situation where you do not want to be timid. You want to be 31 IV attack, 31 IV speed, special attack, and you can be minus defense or minus special defense. It doesn't matter. And then, like, yeah, there's a lot of good shiny Ultra Beasts, and there's some not so good ones. If I remember right, Kartana's super not noticeable. Yeah, it's like the yellow goes to silver and the white around its face goes to black. Super not noticeable. But a lot of the Ultra Beast shinies are really good. But yeah, like, I'm gonna go out and say it now. Xerneas Groudon. That's my pick. That's my restricted pick to win NAIC tomorrow. We're going all in on this. It's not going to be this team, but it's going to be Xerneas Groudon. They're probably going to have like Charizard and run like Regieleki and have some other redirector, but it'll be fine. I think this is such a cool tech Pokemon, and I talked about this a lot, like in the deep dive videos where we're like trying to find niche Pokemon. This is where you find how you find a niche Pokemon like this. Like, this team needed to answer specific Pokemon. This is their Charizard answer. This is the only time you really ever see Blacephalon again in this team when you're playing it, is when there's a Charizard on the field, or if you're really greedy like me and you want to click Hypnosis. Oh goodness. But this is a great example of, here's this niche Pokemon that no one has ever seen, and its one job is to beat Charizard. Right? Like, that's its one job. It's there to beat Charizard. Everything else is bonus. Because on the backside of those calcs, let me find solar power. Like, you're taking 67 to 79 in Dynamax from Gmax Wildfire, and the fact that you get to turn off the sun is insane, right? Like, you're going to outspeed, so you get to deny the sun, and then like you get to deny sun, so you're not taking solar power boosted Gmax Wildfire. That's the big thing. Man, this thing, like, if you just sit here and explore this, every little niche thing that it does, it just gets better. That's just so cool. That's just so cool. Man. Japanese meta, man, it is just wild. Who would have thought that you get to figure out what this Blacephalon does? Who's your pick for, what's your restricted pairing that's going to win tomorrow? Well, I would say win tomorrow. Yeah, like, if you just don't think about it, you just see it and it's like, oh, this is a really cool Pokemon, I want to play with it. And then you just sit here and you just examine why it's doing it, what its job is doing. And it's just crazy. So you're guaranteed to outspeed Blacephalon for world champion. Like, you outspeed 100% of the time because you're just naturally faster. So you get to Rock Blast, you get to Max Rockfall before they ever get to do anything. And this is great for game one because no one's expecting it, right? And so if they're Charty, they live the hit, but they don't have Sun. And so their damage is greatly reduced. So if they attack your partner, you're completely fine. If they attack you, you're taking like 30%. With no HP or anything investment. And then if they're Life Orb, they just die. Because they're taking 140% HP damage from Max Rockfall, because this thing has base 127 attack. Zacy and Kali Shadow, yeah, that's always a good thing to bet on, right? Like, the hyper offense team, especially in the format, like in an event this large, that's a very safe bet. That's a very safe bet. I cannot fault you for taking that kind of, like, hedging on that bet. That's a very safe bet. Oh yeah, right? Like we talked about, there's some cool synergy things going on in teams like this, where you have these cool fire, water, grass cores with Thunderous, Zacian, Calyrex Shadow. Like, this is super duper default, but it's still really good because you just don't know where items are. This could be Assault Vest Landorus with a Life Orb Blastoise. It could be Assault Vest Rillaboom, Life Orb Thunderous, Wakanberry Blastoise. If it's Gastrodon, it could be Leftovers, it could be Expert Belt, whatever. Like, this could be Sashed, this could be Scarf, it could be Life Orb on its own. You don't know until game 1, turn 1, and you see it. So there's a lot of cool things that Calyrex Shadow Zacian can pull off, especially because there's no, like, double weaknesses with that pairing. Like, there's no weaknesses between these two, and so you can kind of fit whatever you want in your last 4 and deal damage that way. Who was it? It wasn't Nathaniel. Oh, I can't. Was it Nathaniel? I can't remember their name. Was it Nathaniel? Yeah, from Milwaukee. Yeah, it was Nathaniel. Nathaniel's literally playing Calyrex Shadow Rider Kyogre with Sun, Zard, Whimsicott, Regieleki, and Clefairy. Like, you can take, as long as your other restricted isn't another Ghost Psychic type to pair alongside Calyrex Shadow Rider, you can literally put whatever you want in the back 4, and I think the team will do well. The Calyrex Shadow Rider plus other restricted is that strong most of the time. I think I just need to play with Blacephalon more. I just keep coming back to this. I keep thinking about how cool this is. Yeah, it's like that. Nathaniel's team is just hyper offense on steroids, right? Like, obviously it wasn't Scarf, but it was Kyogre, Whims, which this already is really good. Yeah, the Calyrex Shadow Rider with Specs, which when you have Tailwind, you could safely do that because you'll know that, oh, they don't have Tailwind out, I can outspeed them, I can win the game that way, right? So Specs means you just deal more damage. And if they don't have a Shadow Rider of their own, you have the Clefairy mode with Friend Guard and Follow Me to redirect all those hits. And because Follow Me is +2 priority, you don't have to worry about your Veltal Sucker Punch and stuff like that. So that's really big. And then he just had the Charizard and Regieleki to kind of round out his damage, which was really, really cool. Yeah, like, I would not be surprised if this is the hyper offensive direction that most teams start to go into. We start seeing Zacian drop off and just Kyogre or Groudon slapped into places alongside Calyrex Shadow. Because if I remember right, it was the other... Yeah, it was James Evan had the super unique Calyrex Shadow Rider Groudon Sun team. And I think the incoming class of senior VGC players are going to just tear up NAIC and Worlds this year as Masters, because they just have so much innovation that a lot of us older players just can't see a lot of the time because we've just grown accustomed to certain things. Yeah, there's so many cool things going into NAIC. Milwaukee was a fantastic event, just to like show you, here's what you're going to probably expect to see at NAIC, and there's going to just be even more of that kind of innovation as we go forward. Got to an hour and a half. I think I've rambled enough here. Any closing questions or thoughts before I start getting the outro set up here? I'm gonna go back to Epicephalon real quick. I'm gonna need somebody to get me a shiny Blacephalon. I might go in the Discord here later and just try to sell somebody on Blacephalon for tomorrow. Yeah, right? A lot of these seniors that have turned masters over the pandemic, they just have so many cool like innovations that I'm just like, when I see it, it clicks. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I think part of it is just like we're blinded by things we see all the time, and it's like, oh, they're doing this, so we're gonna do this too, and then the innovation happens, right? It's the same kind of thing with the Japan meta too, right? Like everyone's like, oh my gosh, Salamence did really well, Blacephalon did really well, and like in Japan, that's just normal. That's their normal every day, right? Yeah, these I'm excited for Scarlet Violet going into that, because a lot of these, it'll be fresh for everybody, and we'll get to see like at the start of a format what these senior players going into Masters this year can really do. With all that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. This was fun. These live deep dives are very interesting, to say the least. We covered everything I wanted to talk about. Yep, it's the same thing as Blacephalon. It had a problem to solve, and it solved it, and it did really well with it. I was gonna play that for laddering, but then Cybertron played it, so I'm like, I don't want to play a team that he's already played. So I went digging and I found this one. Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited to see what VGC gets to be in Scarlet and Violet. But that's all I'm going to do today. Been live for an hour and a half. I think I've talked my voice to death. I need to get to bed. If you're not part of the Discord, links somewhere below me somewhere, usually. If it's not there, you can go check out any of our other YouTube content and find it there. Go hop in the Discord server, talk Pokemon with us there, talk basketball. I think in an NBA draft's going on right now, so everyone's talking about that instead. If you're interested in playing events, we hold events in our Discord and on Battlefy. Probably going to transfer over to Limitless next season for our events. We'll see how that goes. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to our events for the next cycle. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everyone. I had a whole lot of fun with this. I hope you all enjoyed the nice little deep dive session, and kind of gives you an idea into what I do for these videos and how much research I do and what I think about as I'm recording. I normally have about an hour and a half of content to cut through when I record these at home, like the day before, and I'll spend Thursday afternoon editing and pasting and cutting out all the ramblings and pauses and contemplations. Man, I love this Blacephalon tech. The more I look at it, the more excited I am about it. I think this is so cool. I'm glad to hear it. I was gonna say, we're gonna have to revisit our LRQs because they're just not that popular. We wanted to provide, before IRL events for back, we wanted to provide a place for people to play for like stakes, but Yeah, I try to be. Sometimes I have to walk away from the computer and help out around the house, but I'm usually on my phone paying attention too. But here lately, I can't get my phone and Discord to cooperate, so I've been having to close Discord on one so I can look at it on the other and still get the pings. But yeah, we're gonna have to revamp our events for next season. Something's gonna have to change so we can figure out prize support or something. We'll get it figured out though. That's our problem, not y'all's. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up here. I've kind of rambled on here at the end. It'll be fine. Nobody watched till the end anyway. Let's be honest. I see the metrics. I know how this works. Okay, thank everyone for watching, hanging out tonight. I had a whole lot of fun. I hope you all did too. I will not have a video for tomorrow because this is going to be the video for tomorrow. And my Crystal Rain video is not ready for Sunday, so we'll probably have an RTT match from Carter for Sunday. And then we're going to probably talk NAIC Top Cut for the podcast. I'm excited about that. But yeah, have a great rest of your afternoon, evening, morning. I don't even know. Depends on where you're at in the world, I guess. Good night, bud. Good night, everyone. Hope you had a blast, and we will talk to you